All right, everyone, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. Going to be breaking down the Week 13 core plays here for you guys, and we have a loaded slate for the running backs. I'm excited to get into it. Well, let's go ahead and start off with the running backs right now. And so let's go ahead and start off with what I would consider probably the easier plays that we are getting on this slate, honestly, just given the pricing, and that's going to be starting out with Chase Brown. The workload has been pretty massive for him since Zach Moss has been put on the IR, being banged up, and we have seen Chase Brown really go off and have some massive games since he has been the RB1 here, averaging over 20 fantasy points per game during that stretch. The matchup with Pittsburgh is not that desirable, and I would imagine that's why he's priced this low, but he has had a pretty good volume in terms of catching the ball in the backfield. 5 receptions, 9 receptions, 5 receptions. And if you go back and kind of look at Zach Moss's production and attach that to Chase Brown's production in those same games when they're both playing together, what Chase Brown has been able to do in the receiving department, but really just in general, is not really a shock, because if you combine those two, that's what we get here, is what Chase Brown has been able to do here, even without getting, well, he has gotten 2 touchdowns during the stretch, but he is still playing well. You look at that Chargers defense, pretty solid defense that he was able to put up a very good game against as well. At least they seemed like it until they started playing more difficult opponents. But this, like, again, tough matchup, I get that, but at this price tag, we should at least be getting, 15 fantasy points, and I feel pretty comfortable with that. Now, from there, guys, like, we are still getting Aaron Jones at a pretty good price tag. Kind of crazy that a guy that's really only busted twice thus far this season in a pretty good matchup is that low. Like, that's certainly a good play. I wouldn't exactly consider him a core play, but certainly someone we should be looking at. I do want to call it Tony Pollard as well. So if we get news that Tajay Spears is going to be out again, he currently has a concussion. He was out last week. We'll see if he's out again this week. If he's out, Tony Pollard instantly becomes a workhorse running back again, where you look at those games when Tajay Spears is out, Tony Pollard was treated as a workhorse running back and really got a healthy workload in those games against Washington, who also could be pretty thin. Maybe that game's a little bit closer than what people might expect. But the play I want to get to a decent amount is probably going to be Bucky Irving. Now, this is a little bit concerning because Rachaad White is still getting a decent amount of work. Sean Tucker is still a talented back there as well. So a little bit concerning there. But this should be a game in which they are playing with the lead. It's a very good matchup there against the Carolina Panthers. Bucky Irving is getting a nice floor, a base out of his passing game usage as well. We see this guy's 3 receptions, 3 receptions, 3 receptions. And then obviously the big games where he had 7 and 6. So he's had a nice floor with getting at least 3 receptions, giving us around 5 fantasy points per game in the passing game. And then attached to that, we're having him really rush the football extremely well. It seemed like time and time again that he is putting out film on the field that just makes him the clear RB1. But Rachaad White still is not bad. Sean Tucker is pretty impressive as well, guys. So it's going to be tough to imagine him getting more than really 60 to maybe even 65% of the work. It's tough to imagine him getting like 75. But even if we're getting 60 to 65% of the snaps here against this Carolina Panthers defense, I expect Bucky Irving to go off and have a really good game. And so that's like a good starting point. We're getting 2 pretty elite backs in my consideration at such a cheap price tag. I haven't even talked about some of the top end running backs that we were getting, but I really think it's simple, guys. Joe Mixon against the Jacksonville Jaguars is going to be certainly a great play. He had a bad game last week somewhat against the Tennessee Titans, who are a good defense. Like, let's not get it twisted. He still was able to salvage an okay day with his involvement in the receiving game, getting 6 targets, 5 receptions in that game. This is a much better matchup, a matchup that we know we want to be going out of our way to target. And if you look at some of the easier matchups thus far this season, he hasn't played much, don't get me wrong, but Dallas, Indy, Green Bay at the time, New England at the time were easier matchups, and he's been able to exploit those. So I do want to be going out of my way to target Joe Mixon as well. We are getting other good running back plays, don't get me wrong, but those are going to be the ones I'm starting out my builds with. And then from there, guys, let's go ahead and jump on into the receiver position. If we get news that Devonta Smith is going to be out again, I think we just load up on A.J. Brown. He's certainly a great play. And for that matter, like, if Devonta Smith is out, yeah, we are certainly going to have to consider Saquon Barkley as well. A little bit annoying there, but we'll see. But if Smith is out, we certainly want to begin to A.J. Brown. But to me, guys, I think we want to just be starting our builds up with like Puka Nacua and or Cooper Kupp. I say and or because the target volume for these guys is massive. Puka Nacua only played 80% of the snaps last week, was a little bit banged up, but still saw 13 targets in that game, 9 receptions in that game, 100 receiving yards. Just shy of having 3 straight games of over 100 receiving yards, getting that bonus. He gets a great matchup going against the Saints as well. So I think we certainly want to begin to Puka Nacua. Nico Collins gets an easier matchup going against Jacksonville. I kind of defer, or I kind of want to get to Joe Mixon more than Nico Collins. But I wouldn't argue if you wanted to flip those and maybe you're going more balanced at the running back position. I say that because I don't see them like correlating that heavily together. I do want to call it Cooper Kupp as well. Like maybe not as much target volume as Puka Nacua, but he's been the one scoring touchdowns. 11 targets, 10 targets, 7 targets. So it's not like he's having bad games. I do prefer Puka Nacua over Cooper Kupp, but at the same time, I think we could get away with playing both of them. I think that creates a nice high floor for us on this slate. And now, guys, let's go ahead and jump on into the tight ends. I'm not going to lie, I'm really struggling with the tight end position as it sits right now. I don't see anyone really as a core play. I think Taysom Hill is still a great GPP play. Cade Otton, I feel like that's kind of been played out now, but he certainly gets a good matchup there going against the Carolina Panthers. Dallas Goedert's certainly going to be in a good spot. He could have a good game. I'm probably just paying down. Like I've been getting to a little bit of Pat Freiermuth, honestly. I don't love it, but just kind of at a shoulder shrug price tag. That's kind of how I'm going about treating the tight end position on this slate as it sits right now. Is I'm going to be closing up my builds probably with the tight end position, shrugging my shoulders. Whoever I'm landing up on at that price tag is going to be the correct play. That's kind of just my takeaway, is that there's really no mispriced tight end plays. They're all just kind of the same. So let's go ahead and jump on into the quarterback position. So looking at the quarterback position, it's somewhat of the same kind of thoughts as the tight end position, not putting as much of an emphasis on it. Now we are getting several quarterbacks in good spots. I don't think I really need to tell you guys this, but we'll do it. Like Jalen Hurts in a good spot. Again, if Devonta Smith is back, I think that actually helps him out probably the most. We look at some other spots. Baker Mayfield, like he's in an okay spot. I worry about a little bit of the upside with him. CJ Stroud, again, he's going to be getting a good spot here. Don't exactly love him though, because, well, I actually like just getting to Justin Herbert at this price tag. Justin Herbert has been pretty impressive lately, guys. If you take away some Johnston drops last week, he probably has a slightly better week there, but he has consistently been producing some really good numbers against some defenses that, really not easy matchups. I mean, not hard matchups either, but he's been able to do that and play extremely well. Now you tack in the fact that J.K. Dobbins could be out to give us more of a pass-heavy script because Gus Edwards is washed. Haskins, it's okay. Vidal's okay. Jared Patterson's okay. They're probably going to have to throw the football a bunch. And they get a good matchup here going against Atlanta. And so I do like getting into Justin Herbert. Now, Atlanta is coming in off of a bye. Maybe their defense looks a little bit better, having an extra week to prepare for the Chargers. We will see. But right now at that price tag for Justin Herbert, I really think that that's a solid price tag for us. And so let's go ahead and show you guys the first look build that I'm coming up with here. And then I'll show you guys what the 9-to-5 lineup builder is telling us is going to be the most optimal build as it sits right now. And so this is what I came up with. So Justin Herbert at the quarterback position, Joe Mixon, Bucky Irving at the running back spots, as well as Chase Brown. That didn't change much. The one player that I didn't really mention, and I do think the Carolina Panthers are really all in good spots. Tommy Tremble's a good, cheap tight end play. We look at David Moore. He's a little bit too cheap. He actually led the receivers in targets and snaps last week for the Carolina Panthers with Jalen Coker out. He's sneakily been somewhat decent, like on film. I really haven't mind him on film. That being said, Adam Thielen was back last week, played in 60% of the snaps. If Adam Thielen was a little bit cheaper, I'd probably be more inclined to play him. But given this build, I was more than happy to end up on David Moore. And then, yes, I did end up on Pat Freiermuth there. And then I went Titans DST. If Washington's going to be without Brian Robinson Jr. and Austin Eckler, I could see the Titans DST not going negative. And again, guys, I'm typically looking at which DST can I get to that's the lowest price DST that's not going to go negative. And we see the Titans have not went negative thus far. They are a solid defense. I could see that happening. Obviously, Washington, a really good offense. Don't want to go too crazy with that, but I do like that as an option. So, guys, we're going to jump into the 9-to-5 lineup builder here, but do want to call it. If you guys want access to this lineup builder, head on over to 9to5sports.com. When you sign up, use the promo code KEEPCASHING. You guys will get the $10 membership for $8 for the first month. So you guys can kind of try it out, see if you guys like it for $8 for the first month. Take advantage of that, guys. Great value as is. When you use the promo code, it becomes an even better value. All right, so again, as always, I need to give it 2 data points for this to start. So whatever, just rounding up with some of the players here on the top end. And we're just going to run this just to see what the most optimal lineup is being spit out to us as it is right now. Probably should have put the tight end as flex and eligible. We'll see if those are being populated into the flex spot. And so here we go. It did do that. All right, so real quickly, guys, settings. We're going to flex and eligible tight end. And we're just going to generate this again. And so here we go, a little bit better. It's actually getting to Bijan Robinson as a running back play. I don't hate that. Justin Herbert does like as the quarterback play. All right. Chase Brown, again, I agree with that. Ladd McConkey, so it's stacking Justin Herbert with Ladd McConkey. It naturally tries to do that, so I don't hate that. Trey Palmer's interesting. I would rather go David Moore there personally myself. It is looking to get to a lot of Alvin Kamara. And if you look at it, I think that makes sense. Taysom Hill obviously had a massive game in his last game. That's not going to happen a lot. Kamara's in a good matchup. Like I think that's perfectly fine. If you guys want to play him maybe instead of Mixon, I'd be okay with that. That's part of the issue on the slate is that I could talk myself into like 10 of the running back plays. The running back position has just been so fruitful this year. It's kind of been annoying in that regard. So I could get on board with that. Let's see the player exposures actually. Whatever, Jets right now, it's getting to a lot of Jets. Derek Carr, interesting. I guess I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Definitely don't love it. Interesting. So a little bit different as to how I see this slate going somewhat. I mean, still getting to Herbert a lot, still getting to Chase Brown a lot. Definitely interesting there. I like my hand build a decent amount as it sits right now, guys. I'm doing this video on Tuesday. This video will probably be released on probably Thanksgiving, just as an FYI. So there might be some slight change in news that occurs that maybe makes some of the portion of this video a little bit obsolete. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. Have a good Thanksgiving there. Make sure to give a like and subscribe to the channel. Try and get this video back up to 100 likes. I know I haven't been putting out DFS content as much. Let me know if you guys want it, guys. You can do that by liking the video. That's just an easy sign to tell me to put out more DFS content as well. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck with all your lineups. And as always, guys, let's keep cashing again. Leave a thumbs up. Feel free to share this with your buddies as well. That always helps the video out. Comment, guys, leave an emoji. That'll help out the analytics of the video as well. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.